How's it going? My name is Zane, and today we are going to go over a few tips that you can use on Premiere Pro. Okay, so the video that I chose to play around with just to show you how to edit real quick. This is my fitness journey video with Dennis. So what I do is I double click on it and it will play in this source monitor, or I could bring it and drag it to the timeline and then I could play it here. So I'll just play it for like a few seconds. What I'm gonna be teaching you is just learning some of the tools that you're gonna be working with. So if you want to move this file back and forth on the timeline, this is your selection tool. This is your track tool. So say for example, if I Control K and cut on this timeline and move, and maybe I Control K and cut over here, right? And say I want to move everything on the right side, starting here. Instead of doing it one by one, I could simply click on the track, select forward, and move it all back. Because typically what ends up happening, if I don't select that tool and I want it to move, it's going to cut inside my footage. And we don't want that, because if I just stopped right here, it'll actually merge and all that information that's in between is gone. So we're gonna Control Z, undo. What we have to do is make sure you click on the track select forward, and you'll be able to move the whole timeline on that track back and forth. And the next tool we have that we typically will use is the razor tool. So anywhere you put the razor tool, you'll cut it. But a great method that you can use is just kind of going over the timeline and dragging your cursor, your timeline, and seeing where you want to cut, and then stay there. The easiest is Control K, but if you want to use the razor tool, you can also use that as well. And then we have the pen tool, the slip tool, rectangular tool, that's if you're masking. We have the hand tool if you want to move certain things around. And then we have the text tool, which creates a new layer, and you could stretch that out. And say if I wanted to put Dennis, I click on the effects tool and find his name. Then I increase, right here is where you increase the size, the font size. So say for example, I want it to be, or you could type it in, say I want it to be 250. And increase it, make it bold. I like to kind of organize this and make it a little tight. So then you could add like a cross fade, so you could dissolve it. So then when you play it, you see the Dennis pops up and it smooths out. So then I want to shrink this, make it about 5 seconds, and then I'll take that same cross dissolve, and then I'll have that fade out. It's always good to fade. If you're gonna fade in, you can fade out so it doesn't come so abrupt. When you're ready to export, what you do is you go to the export tab here, or you can go to File, Export. Now, it's very important, because some people mess this up. You see this blue highlighted box? If I were to export, nothing happens. So you have to go on your timeline, make sure that blue highlighted area is around the timeline. And you could simply press Control M, which will send you to the export screen. You could look through your footage, make sure that's how you want it. And then you go here, make sure you change the name so you can easily find it. You want to be able to see where your project is going. Then you could change the presets, like what preset you want to export in. Typically, I export in YouTube 4K. And for the format, I would say stay to H.264, depending on your computer or depending on how the client wants the file be sent to them. You have the video. Make sure you check the frame size. You can also press match source just in case you cropped and changed the frame. You can have it with audio or no audio. And even if you wanted to, this is going to your computer or the media file, but say for example, you want to save some time, you could actually have it export to YouTube without you having to re-upload it again. I don't recommend doing it. I recommend checking the footage first, making sure it's good, then upload it to YouTube, but that is very convenient. Once you have checked all the settings, make sure you export. Thank you for tuning in to episode 6 of I Am Zane Studios filmmaking class. Next week, we are going to be talking about creating cinematic shots through color grading. And we are going to go through the same process. I'm going to shoot something completely different or something you've just never seen before. And I'm going to color grade it step by step so you can see the difference and the power in color grading. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week.